Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hasrin bin Hussein alias Hussein. My matrix number 279781. Today I will present about my individual assignment of corporate governance, which is the company that I chose is Dutch Lady Mick Malaysian's Berhad. For the table of content, uh, I have 5 chapters that I include in the content of the our my assignments, which is for chapter 1 is introductions, chapter 2 literature review, chapter 3 methodology, chapter 4 finding data and analysis, chapter 5 is discussions and conclusions. For the first one is backgrounds. For the chapter 1 background, Dutch lady is Dutch Lady Mixed Industry Berhad or DLMI was established in 1963 in Petaling Jaya, Selangor. For 59 years, we have embraced the changing lifestyle of our consumer and evolved to meet the natural needs better. In 1988, Dutch Lady Milk industry became the first to introduce formulated milk powder for children in Malaysians. uh, Moving to 2007, we celebrate World Milk Day that become annual celebrations for Dutch Lady Milk Industry Berhad until today. And in 2014, uh, Dutch Lady Dutch Lady Milk Industry won its first Putra Brand Awards for dairy beverage category if continue to win the awards for 5 consecutive years. The success story continued to inspire us to do our best, and we prepared proud to share this historical moment with you. For the next part is problem statement. In Malaysia, dairy industry is facing a challenging period as a consumer generally they are daily expensive and are switching to cheaper product due to current high cost of living. Uh, Dutch Lady Mix Industry Berhad manager director Zoe Chowli said, based on the company analysis, mainstream consumers have reduced the frequency of the shopping trips and cut their shopping basket post goods and service tax or GST in 2017. Also, the problem is that too many competitors like is tea, coffee, or Milo that become a competitor for the Dutch lady in the industry. And then they have a similar product like Dutch lady have a product milk chocolates like Dutch lady milk chocolates that become the compete with the Milo product. That is the problem that the Dutch lady milk industry milk Malaysians Berhad facing. There are two types of research that I choose this research of objective, research of questions. For the objective of this research, the first one is to ascertain the internal or firm specific factor that could have influence on lady Malaysians Berhad performance. Second one is to identify the external or macroeconomic factor that could have influence on Dutch Lady Malaysians neighborhood performance. The third one to investigate the internal and external factor to could have influence on Dutch Lady Mix Malaysians neighborhood company. For the research questions, the research question is the first one is there any relationship between the internal factor with Dutch Lady Malaysians neighborhood performance? And the second one is there any relationship between the external or macroeconomic factor with Dutch lady mix Malaysian Berhad performance? And the third question is there any relationship between internal and external factor with Dutch lady Malaysian Berhad performance? In chapter 2, we included 6 of the component in chapter 2, which is corporate governance, performance, liquidity risk, credit risk, operational risk, and market risk. The corporate governance practice in organization has developed rapidly in recent time, and its importance has been highlighted around the world. It has been adopted by countries that have not yet regulated adoption of corporate governance in the SAG. For the 4 months, corporate governance advocated and reformers claim that good governance policy are essential for high performance, relying on agency theory. Scholars and practitioners reason that if any company is paying attention to safeguard the interests of its owner, the asset of the firm will be employed in a manner to minimize waste and maximize probabilities. For the liquidity risk, uh, liquidity risk is the risk that a company may be unable to meet its short-term financial obligations or paying back a bank loan, paying a service provider's salary, tax debts, uh, that's all. And then for the credit risk is referred to the probability of loss due to the borrower failure to make loan payments. Credit risk management is the art of limiting loss by always knowing the adequacy of bank capital and loss reverse practice that has long been difficult for financial institutions to perform. For the next is operation risk. Uh, Operation risk as a measure of the link between a firm business activity and the variation in its business result. He argued that a firm can improve shareholder value by reducing the amount of operational risk relative to the earning of the firms. And the last one is market risk. The financial crisis and corporate scandal that have occurred recently around the world, and it's a Gulf Cooperation Council, which is GCC. Regions have been highlight the indicate disclosure of firm risk exposure. This market condition can include a regulations or disruptions change in government policy affecting major interest rates, natural disaster, politics, interest, terrorism, and so on. Next is a chapter 3, which is a methodology or company or product history. For the first one, the research methodology describe the process followed during the study. This chapter will go through sample strategies, statistical analysis, data analysis, and the implementation of the statistical package for the social science, which is SPSS. For the first one is sampling technique. In statistics, the term population refers to the group of people that the research are looking for the study. In this study, the report sampling is the due to Dutch lady Malaysian's Berhad, which is the one of the biggest company of producing whole milk, baby milk formula or yogurt brand in Malaysia. And the next one is statistical technique. Statistical technique is the data utilized in this study we derived from the company annual report for the 5 years of spanning, which is 2017 to 2021. The income statement and balance sheets included in the annual report are used to analyze the company financial performance by estimating financial ratios such as return on equity, current ratio, average collection, CG index, and operating margins. The next is data analysis. In data analysis, in this study, one dependent variable and three independent variable we chose based on the theoretical framework of future research. The methodology follow is a probability, that's ROE. We will use the three factors, which is internal factors, external factors, and then the internal and external factors. And then the last one is a statistical package of science SPSS. In the research, IBM SPSS version 26 was utilized to measure the data that we obtained from the annual report according to Landau and average 2003. SPSS, which stands for Statistical Package for the Social Science, is a specific user-friendly data processing and statistical analysis software package. In this chapter, we will finding data and analysis. The data in this report can be examined using SPSS. This SPSS can provide data functionally including graph, summary of model, correlation and confusion table, and descriptive statistic. For the first table in my left is descriptive statistics of dependence and company specific variable. The study revealed that the means of ROA is 0.2070, is implying that in this company annual profit is optimally 20.7%, while the standard deviation is 0.1176, indicate a significant amount of profit volatility over the course of 5 years. For the second graph is the correlation analysis table for internal factor of Dutch lady industry Berhad. The variable considered to assess Dutch lady industry Berhad performance from 2017 to 2021 are shown in the table of correlations. The current ratio, the liquidity of equity, average collection periods, debt to income, operating ratio, operating margin, inflation rate, interest rate, exchange rate, employment, and CG are the factors of the internal factors. In internal factors, I including the two tables, which is model summaries and coefficients. For the first is model summaries. The study showed that only three internal factors are contribute to the company performance, which are debt to income, average collection period, and current ratio. For the coefficients, the study showed that the current ratio is 0.179, debt to income is 0.239, and average collection period is 0.271. This variable indicated they did not have no significance p-value and have no influence on the ROE. For the external factors, I have including the two table also is a model summary and coefficients. For the first one is the model summary. The study showed that the only three external factors contribute to the company performance, which are in employment, inflation rates, and interest rates. For the coefficients, the referring table of coefficients of external factor, we can learn then this study showed that interest rate is 0.505, inflation rate is 0.535, and employment is 0.965. This variable indicated that they don't have no significant p-value and have no influence on the ROE. That's also in the internal and external factors. I have included in the two table, which is a model summary and coefficients. For the model summary, the study showed that only three combined data of internal and external factor are contribute to the company performance, which are in employment, ROE, in current ratio. And for the coefficients is the referring the table of coefficients of internal and internal and external factors. This study showed that p-value of unemployment is 0.143, current ratio is 0.247, and the ROE is 0.336. The variable indicates that they do not have no significant p-value and have no influence on the ROE. This is the chart of the model summary and the coefficients based on the internal factors. And this is the chart of the external factors. And this is the trend analysis of the company. Trend analysis of the trading McBride is analyzed from 2017 to 2021. We can see in the return of asset, the highest ROA is the in 2018, which is 0.3203, and the lowest is in 2021, which is 0.1472. And next is the return on equity, or ROE. The highest number of ROE is in 2021, which is the number is the 3.8752, and the lowest is in 2020, which is 1.1456. And the next is the current ratio. We we can see also in current ratio is same like the ROE, which is in the highest is 2021, which is 1.5752 in 2021, and in 2023 is 0.8891. For the average collection period. For the average collection period, the highest number is 3.39.1204, which is in 2018, and the lowest is in 2021, which is 24.5853. While in the debt to income, the graph show in 2020 is the highest number of the debt to income, which is 2.6363, and the lowest is in 2021, which is 0.9631. And then next is operation ratio. In 2017 is the lowest ratio of the operation ratio, which is in 2017 recorded the 0.1143, and then the highest is in 2020, which is the recorded is 1.0532. For the next graph is the operating margin that show that in 2017 the lowest number of operating margin is 0.16 0.0404, and then the highest numbers of the operating margin is in 2021, which is recorded for the 0.2533. And the next slide is the next graph is a corporate governance index. The graph showed that in 2017 is the lowest value of the corporate governance index, which is 0.92308. Meanwhile, for the 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021, they share the same value of index, which is 1. Okay, for the next slide is chapter 5, which is a discussion results. The goal of this assignment is to look at the internal and external aspect that Dutch lady in industry Berhad's financial performance is influenced by internal and external elements were combined in this assignment to achieve the goal. Internal factor were return of asset, return of equity, current ratio, debt to income ratio, operating margin, average collection, and corporate governance index. Based on chapter 4, they have proof to show that the credit risk has been influenced the internal factors, all the internal variable as significant correlations with ROA. However, for the external variable based on the coefficients of correlations for the table 4, for the table of coefficients of internal and externals, is indicate that external variable does not significant correction with ROA. For the last one, I will present about the recommendations for this company. For the last one, the ROA for Dutch lady industry brand is declining as can be observed. Therefore, it will be better for this business to concentrate on maximum profit, talk boosts asset growth and product these variations. This is since the product sales are the same, except for the packaging and the flavor has not changed. The next is the average collection periods is the length of time in it takes for a company to obtain account receivable payment due to its client to make uh, to make sure they have enough cash on hand to cover the financial responsibility. Business employ the average collection periods for business that largely rely on receivable for their cash flow. The average collection period is a crucial number since it shows how well a company managing its account receivable to raise the asset and the revenue. Dutch dynamic Berhad also must lengthen the typical period it takes for clients to pay. And that's all from me. Thank you.